Hey guys, how you doing today? It's me, Kelly. So today what we're going to do is talk about what is mixed media. And I get a lot of questions about this, and so I thought I would just do a brief thing of what it is. So basically mixed media is mixing your medias, and what your mediums are, anything that you can use in art. It could be markers and, this is called liquid pearls, I believe. No, Ranger has liquid pearls. This is beads in a bottle. We have our ink pad. There's perfect pearls. I was reading it. Oil pastels. We have our water-soluble pastels. Stencils. Glue. It could be anything. Pencils. So you kind of get what I'm saying. Like, for instance, this has charcoal, using charcoal pencils, and it has those little liquid beads in a bottle and markers and, all kinds of stuff. So that's kind of what it is. I know so many of you are new to this medium, and it's a wonderful medium. Some people are very talented and can do a background and paint on the background. I can do that if I follow a tutorial, but because my brain, I suffer from chronic illnesses and medication like a lot of you, and my brain sometimes does not function well and can't really grasp things like that. So I try, I do some, but I love mixed media. It's what I was born to do. So I know, so dramatic, isn't it? So if you're interested in, seeing what mixed media is, please stay tuned. And if you are not already and you would like to be, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Click that subscribe button down below. There's a little bell next to it. Click it so you can get notified of uploads when I upload. And even if you're already subscribed to me, please click that bell for notifications, because a lot of people say they don't get my things in their inbox like they used to. So, I'd appreciate it. And let's get going. Okay, so on this paper, I just have some paint. And it's just acrylic paint, not a big deal. Now, of course, you can use watercolor paint, whatever, with this, but this is dry. So what I'm going to do now is let's just play with the mixed media. I'm going to use a stencil, and then I'm going to use an ink pad. And you can use whatever you want. Just make sure that you use permanent if you don't want it to move. You could also use regular water-soluble pads, but just know that that'll be different than these kind. So I'm just going to put some green on here, and we're just going to layer in. And there starts our mixed media. So at this moment, you can say, I'm doing mixed media, baby. Now, watercolor pencils, watercolor markers, all that good stuff you can use. So I'm just going to move, but you see how awesome? And you can make stencils yourself. You can use stamps. That is awesome as well. So I'm just going in and adding some of this on top. And this will be, these are the distress oxides, right? I think that's what these are. Yeah. Because I have distressed ink there. And these are great because you can see I have some there, and I'll just kind of, when you use these, they can do all kinds of cool things, and I'm not going to get too much into that. But this is printer paper. Oh my goodness, I'm on autofocus. Why? Why did you come on? This is just printer paper I'm using. Now, of course, you can get mixed media paper, Bristol, watercolor paper, canvas paper. I mean, you can get whatever you want. I like to use printer paper to make backgrounds, and that will be what this ends up being. But anyway, you see, and you can go in with different colors, and it gets, all kinds of neat. So, like I said, I have a video on this, and there's many on the internet showing you how. Okay, so this is a permanent marker. So this could be a Sharpie. This is Faber-Castell. It could be a Sharpie. It could be a Bic, whatever you have, or water soluble. It doesn't matter. And, these might not stay right this second, but if I squirt it, sometimes, depending on, now this is going to soak the marker in, so it's not going to smear. But if you use it on some sort of paper, if we give it a squirt, because everybody loves a squirt, and you go in, you can see that it becomes a watercolor type look. But when it dries, it'll be permanent. So this is a lot of fun to play with as well. On this right here, not going to work, but if I do, you see I squirted water, and then I go in, and you can see it will move around until it's dry. And, you know, a lot of fun. But you probably want a gesso, and gesso becomes, you know, a really cool part as well. Well, what else was I going to do? These are oil pastels. Now these have to go on top of like your last layer. So these are Sennelier, but you can use water soluble ones. You can use portfolio oil soluble, you know, whatever you want. But these will go on last. So if this is like our last layer and we just want to add a little bit, you can go in and really just kind of mix it in. And go lightly. I like to go lightly, but you can do whatever you want. And you can see it mixes really nice and goes on top. Something I like to do as well is I like to take my Mod Podge paper and layer it on after I get quite a few layers done, so then I can even layer on top, because it'll set this, and then you can work on top and have layers and layers and layers. So much fun. So yes, oil pastels definitely work, and you can get these very inexpensive, not this brand, excuse me, but you can get oil pastels at your local craft store. Use a coupon and you get, you know, really good, really good stuff. Stencil, of course, you can use this. Now these are beads in a bottle, but sometimes I just like to add them, and I'll show you here. Put this back in. You can use your finger, you can use a brush, whatever, but you could just go in and add, and what it does, these beads in a bottle, now that's a metallic color. They come in all kinds of colors. I don't know how well you're going to be. See that shine? Look at that. So when that dries, that's going to have a nice little shine there. So, you know, that kind of thing. And then, of course, we have our water-soluble crayons. Now, I got requests to do, which I've used them 1,000 times, and I will do another video on it, the Crayola ones. And I'll do those because I know they're less expensive. But this is just carte de Nash. Is that what it's called? Neocolor 2s. And you just kind of go in. And this is wet, so I can definitely go on here and kind of wet a little bit of my finger and smudge that around. Apparently I have a thing for red today. And again, you know, you'll get those lines unless you do something to make it not, you know, you put gesso down or you're doing on top of layers. Like if I do this here, I think you guys understand what I'm saying though. And then I go in and I get some water. But remember, these are going to be one of the last layers, because when you go over it again, unless you seal it, it will, and this is going to pick up the texture underneath. Wait till you see how cool. And I'm not going for the stencil look, so if it seeps underneath, I'm okay with that. I just want to lift off some of the extra water. But you see, and you know, you could turn this over and push it down and pick up anything that's left. So a lot of fun, a lot of fun. So yeah, so that's kind of basically your mixed media. Now you can dry this, like I said, and I'll show you real quick. And you can use acrylic paint as well, obviously, right? Some people don't like using printer paper, and that's okay. I think that it's very inexpensive, and if you can't afford to always go out and buy new paper, like scrapbook paper, which I always tell you guys, go to the clearance section. It does not matter. I've done so many videos on how to turn your paper, scrapbook paper that you don't necessarily like, into paper that you like. But honestly, you don't even have to do that. Just take paper, whatever paper you have. Even brown paper bag paper. If you get paper bags from your grocery store, rip those into pieces and do it on that. Some people put the brown paper down on their desk, their art desk, or wherever they're doing their stuff. And whatever goes off on, you know what I mean, on the side, they use that. Now, these are called Perfect Pearls, and these go on kind of a, let's see if I have any in here. Let's see. We have this. Let's see if this will work for me today. Open, baby. So this is a embossing pad, and it's a like a gluey kind of thing, and you can make your own. There's many. I don't think I've ever made my own, but there are many things on the internet, videos that you can definitely do that with. And I just need a stamp. Okay, so we'll use the stamp because it's sitting there, and I'm gonna just put this in here and really get in there. I think the Frugal Crafter has one of these videos where you make your own with glycerin. I am almost positive, but I've not tried it. So you want to do this, and you really want it, like I said, wet, and we're going to just stamp it here and lift it up. Now I'm going to take some of the Perfect Pearls, and this could be embossing powder too, and you can emboss it, but I'm not going to get into that right now. And I'm just going to put some Perfect Pearls on it like that. And then I'm going to take my brush, any brush really, that's soft. And this is, I'm doing this so you guys can really see, but what happens is, then that will stick to the part on here that had the powder. They also sell a Perfect Pearls sticky thing too. It's one of those days. I took my needle yesterday, so I'm a little out of it. So please forgive my forgetfulness. Okay, so, and then this is, the reason I did this like this is to show you if you're embossing or doing something like this. And then you just want to take it on paper. And you want to just give it a couple taps to get it off. Okay. And you can brush it off too. And what's great with Perfect Pearls is it sets with water. So then you can go in and give it a quick squirt, and it will dry, and you will have your Perfect Pearls. Now, I'm going to go in, let me try, because you guys really liked the video where I used this from the dollar store. All it is shelf lining, but it makes great texture and all kinds of great stuff. So I'm going to put this here and stamp it on. But what I'm going to do, now what happens is this one turns blue because, so you can kind of like see where it's at. But I'm going to take this little bit right here that fell off. I'm going to dip my brush in it. And then I'm going to go in here. And you see it starts picking up. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? So you can see how that works. Now they have gold and, I mean, every color under the sun for this. So I'll just go and kind of give this a quick dust. And I'll show you one other way. But you see, and then that picks all that up. Now that doesn't have a shine to it as much as the gold that we see right here. But it still has such a nice, adds just such a nice color and texture. Because that looks very textured, and we really didn't do anything. And again, you would spray it with a little water to make it permanent. But like I have this little bit here, sometimes what I like to do, sometimes I will use Mod Podge. Sometimes I will just use some water. So I will go in and just put the tip of that in. And then I'm going to go in and kind of clean up this a little bit. And I can just use it kind of like as paint. The water is going to make it dry, permanent. But you see, so you could do it this way too in a stencil or whatever you want. And I'm just picking up that stuff that fell. And then I can go here and push this down and just kind of, maybe a little bit more water. And then we'll get some of that. So nothing goes to waste. You can always use it in different ways, different techniques. It's just fun. So yeah, so that's a lot of fun. And this just rinses off in your water and then you're good. And then you can wipe up whatever's left there. But it comes in so many colors. And then one of my favorites is Pearl-Ex, which I'll just show you a little bit. This is a interference blue, I believe. What is it? Duo red blue. And I'll just do a little bit. Do a little bit because it's duo. Only in your head is that funny, Cal. And then you can do the same thing. I just want to show you what this is like. And this is Pearl-Ex Pigments. The other one is Perfect Pearl. So there are two different brands that I'm using. Let's get a little bit more. Let's do it here and see. So you guys can see some shiny. And these are the same. They can go on anything, and then you will wet them to become permanent. Just do a little bit because I'm not too worried about that right now. But you see how you get the different looks? So you got like the duochrome right there. And then you got the Pearl-Ex, right, the Perfect Pearls right there. And they're both shiny. They both have beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So that's fun. So that's just a quick summary of what exactly mixed media is. It's just using, and knowing how to put your lid back on, that would help. It's just using different things for, you know, the media in your thing. It could be acrylic paint. It could be, like I said, markers, all these fun things, stamps, stencils, ink. Ink's great too. You can use. So I hope that at least gets you started on understanding what it is. And remember, if you use pencil, that adds to the stuff too. You could write words. You can, oh gosh, stamp. There's so much stuff. So much fun stuff that you can do, but this is a start. So look at your stuff. Do you have acrylic paint? Most people have acrylic paint and they have watercolors. That's a great way. Maybe you have some ink pads, maybe you have some washi tape or patterned duct tape. You can use all that. You can use a modeling paste. I call it molding paste, gesso. Oh geez, it just goes on and on. Beads, glitter. You see what I'm saying? There's so many ways to go. So I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope it helped a little bit. If you have any more questions or anything else that you want me to answer, just ask me down below, or all my information is in the description down below. All you have to do is find my email and write me. I'm on NetZero, I'm on Gmail, I'm on Pinterest, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter. I'm on, I think that's it. So you can find me everywhere. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you guys have a great day. As always, please be kind to each other. You never know what battle somebody else is fighting. I love you guys so very much. I hope this was helpful, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.